What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Battle League content. Today's video is going to be talking about a really cracked Fantasy Cup team, and I mean it. I don't mean it lightly. It's true. This team is so freaking strong. It just powers through so many things. Unless you literally get hard counted to the T. Shiinotic on the lead is so good. Astonish beats the Giratinas, the Dragapults, and this thing has so much neutral play into the rest of the meta, and it beats all of the Flygon, Azumarill cores. It's just such a good Pokemon, and hopefully you've got one from the Morlo events / spotlight hours we've had. If you have a decent one to build for a Great League, it's worth the dust. I promise you, in this meta, this thing is so freaking good. It also destroys the Mud Slappers, which is a welcome change. We're going to pair it up with a Dragapult. This thing, I'm telling you guys, if you saw yesterday's video, you know this thing. Dragapult is like one of the best Pokemon in this format. Astonish itself is just an amazing fast move for this cup because it's basically unresisted across the entire meta. And Dragapult can be swapped out with a Giratina Origin if you'd like. I tried not to use my Giratina Origin in this team because I wanted to take out my Shadow Flygon for a spin. Regular Flygon works as well, and again, Giratina is also fine here. We do have a Sand Attack, Dragon Claw, Scorching Sands, Shadow Flygon because it puts such immense pressure. And honestly, Sand Attack is really strong on Flygon. Flygon. Anyway, I don't know, man. My mouth is tired. Let's just get into the games here. If I can figure out where my play button went. There it is. We're going to get into the games now. All right. Getting into the first battle, we are going to have our Flygon, or the opponent's Flygon against our Shiinotic. Shiinotic just shuts this thing down. Opponent safe switches into an Azumarill, and we are just chilling here. I am in a very good spot. The opponent makes a safe switch into Azumarill, meaning that they are core broken, at least to this point, by Shiinotic. And I would like to retain my Shiinotic for, for use into the opponent's Flygon. However, I also realized that I need to get rid of this Azumarill. This thing having Ice Beam. Dragapult does not have the bulk that Giratina has, and if you have the Giratina, I would probably opt to use that over the Dragapult here, if I'm being completely honest with you. Ice Beam does pretty much one-shot the poor Dragapult, but because of the energy lead that we got by the opponent swapping out like that, Dragapult's going to be able to outpace this Flygon to 2 Breaking Swipes, and that's just silly. 3 Astonish counts, 2 Breaking Swipe. Just insanity. Dragon Claw coming out fast and hot, but not fast enough from the opponent's Flygon. Flygon is going to go down to this Breaking Swipe because it's actually quite frail, and the Dragon type damage does do a lot of damage to it because of that lack of bulk. Opponent's got that low health Azumarill in the back. They're going to bring it in, and they just threw the Ice Beam, so I'm pretty confident I could just farm it all the way down, and then they bring in the Ferrothorn, and now all of a sudden I'm like, okay, this is kind of awkward. Ferrothorn does kind of beat what I have in the back, but the Astonish damage is going to be more than enough here. The opponent forced to throw the energy. We can Astonish down with Shiinotic, absorb the energy on the Shiinotic from the Azumarill if they even have a move, and then we're going to be able to just take out the Azumarill with the Flygon Sand Attacks, but the opponent not having to move or deciding not to throw it, they go down. Good game. Well played. 13-2. And about 2 or 3 wins in a half a set that I played with this team. And I was so lucky not to have the opponent have Powder Snow here. If this opponent has Powder Snow on their Alolan Sandslash, my whole team gets cooked here. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie, dude. My whole team gets cooked. Now, the only benefit here that I have is that regardless, Flygon's Shadow Flygon's Sand Attacks are just shredding through the Sandslash. So if you do end up getting against a Powder Snow variant, you might be able to do a lot of damage with the Sand Attacks before going down, but those Powder Snows are going to add up. The opponent letting that move go, however, brings them low enough that I can safely farm down. And again, even if it's Powder Snow, still a situation where the Flygon actually outpaces to the Dragon Claws, which is insane. Opponent's going to come in with a Goodra here, which for me is fine because unless they're running Sludge Wave, which is definitely a thought in my head right now, we completely resist all of their energy, and I cannot bring in my Dragapult at this point because it has to Astonish down while taking Dragon Breath. So I'm going to keep it stashed away in the back. Opponent did not build up to a potential Sludge Wave, so I knew all they were going to be throwing there was the Aqua Tail or Thunder Punch, which I'm fine with. Going to go for the Seed Bomb. Opponent does not like Shiinotic whatsoever. But I'm going to save the shield. Just let Dragapult cook. What could be in the back? Nothing really beats Dragapult, and it's going to be an Azumarill. Up a shield. This is a commanding win for us, as we're going to be able to get to the Shadow Ball here. And I'm going to shield this up. I want to make sure that I'm guaranteed to land that Shadow Ball. They're going for the Play Rough. If they had gone for Ice Beam, I may have been in a worse spot here. But we go for the Shadow Ball, and we're very close to knocking out with this Shadow Ball here. Shiinotic should actually be able to take out with the Astonishes after this, but my opponent goes for one more. I don't know if they needed to be at the move right there or if they were already at it, but them going for the one more bubble allows me to get the Breaking Swipe off and knock out with the Dragapult. It's a good game. Double resisted damage, and it's still enough to take out the Azumarill. Anyway, next amazing lead here. We get a Mud Slapper, and again, the opponent is core broken by the Shiinotic here, and the Astonishes are doing a considerable amount of damage. The opponent could, however, go for a Rock Slide, and because they're not swapping out, I'm going to shield even if it is a Rock Slide, and the opponent throws out an Iron Head. They're cooking. And so my Flygon's going to come in now, and after throwing that move. Now, I could have immediately swapped into my Flygon. Maybe I should have. This can only ever be a power-up punch. I have played some Shadow Mawile already in this cup, and it did not go well for me, but it does go well for other people. I don't know. But opponent's going to come in with a Galarian Weezing, and at this point, like, my Flygon has just fully farmed down most of a Mawile. And we have 2 Scorching Sands loaded. I'm getting both my shields back, but now the worry is if they fully farm me down, it could get hairy. Now, almost every Weezing I have seen in this cup is running Sludge Overheat. And I have seen almost none that have broken that rule. So I'm going to come in with my Dragapult hoping that they're going to instantly throw the Sludge. And they do. We call it. We get it right. The opponent now going for another move very quickly here. I don't think they have the energy for Play Rough. And even if they have it, go ahead and throw it. They have the Sludge. They're just going to keep throwing Sludges my way. And at this point, now I can bring in Shiinotic, look to go for this farm down. And I'm going to actually go for a Sludge Bomb of my own into the opponent's Weezing here, as we have this poison type damage to do neutral damage to this Weezing, which is why I'm running it. I don't have Moonblast because I don't feel like I need it. Good game to the opponent. Well played. It just never felt necessary for me to have Moonblast. I've never had a single game playing this team where I felt like I wanted it. Now, we're going to still safe switch into the Flygon here. Even though they had a Fairy type on the lead, they are still going to take super effective damage from those sand attacks, and they're going to feel pressured to swap, especially if they're not running Brutal Swing, which that trainer was not. Now, we are going to get an attack drop from our Scorching Sands. Unfortunately for us, it doesn't really matter because all of the attacks from Azumarill are going to one-shot our Flygon. We're going to shield once and see if we can't get the opponent lower or get them to a point where Shiinotic can simply just farm down. Looking to try and go for the Scorching Sands before they get to a move here, and we're going to be able to get it. Flygon with Scorching Sands is just incredible in this meta as a safe switch. It just gets to move so quickly. It's not as quick as it used to be with it's not as quick as it used to be with the oh my goodness, with Mudshot. It's not as quick as it used to be, but it's still good. Now we know how much damage the Sludge does. I hadn't taken one yet. I wanted to for science. I'm like, I'm gonna see how much this does. We take it. Sludge Bomb gonna hit back for pretty good damage. The opponent's gonna have to throw, or they're gonna. I mean, they can throw if they want, but now it's just me calling Sludges. Do they have the moves? They don't even get to another move here, and in comes the Giratina. We are gonna be able to get to this Dragon Claw. A lot of like what ifs happening right there. Making some quick decisions of my own, trying to get into the Giratina. We have a shield here. We just need to get to the Breaking Swipe. I need them to not be at 2 Ominous Winds, which I don't think they are. We're going to go for one more Astonish, and we're nailing the Breaking Swipe here. Getting this damage off wins us the game. That's going to be a good game to the opponent here. Well played. All right, next game up, we got Shiinotic on the lead into a Lucario. This right here is actually a really good lead as long as they don't land a Shadow Ball on me. Now, the opponent's going to go into a Galarian Stunfisk, and I should have immediately brought in my Flygon here. My thinking was I have really good play into the Lucario across this entire team, and so I should probably just commit here to the good matchup that I've got. In case they have a double ground team, they probably have an extra drill in the back or something. Galarian Stunfisk, haven't seen one of those in a while, but now I'm going to come in with my Flygon here, and I'm going to be forced to shield up a potential Earthquake because that would do a ton of damage. And I'm also not sure if I can fully farm this down. I've also given them a ton of energy, so I have to be cautious of where I am. Now, I throw there. I'm not sure how close they are to another Earthquake. I know it probably would have taken them at least a few more moves to get there, but I didn't want to risk it. And now they come in with an Azumarill. The Azumarill has a shield advantage on me, and this is kind of uncomfortable, not going to lie. Like, we have the Shiinotic, but but it's only going to do so much here. We aren't able to get to the Scorching Sands, which was kind of critical for us to be able to get that shield off the opponent. They're going to fire off a Play Rough here, and I'm actually going to come in with Dragapult to start getting ahead on energy, and the opponent is staying in. I will have to give them my shield or catch on the Shiinotic. It is a Play Rough, most likely, as they would have thrown the Ice Beam otherwise. So we're going to be able to catch a debuffed Play Rough. The opponent going for some farm, letting me farm them down in kind, and now they're going to come in with the Lucario. Lucario is going to be going for these Force Palms. They are doing quite a bit of damage despite being resisted by our Fairy typing. Seed Bomb going to get the first shield. Opponent fearing that potential Moonblast, but I am gonna go into my Dragapult now and tank a move. I'm like, the only way that I win this game is if they bait me, and I'm gonna lose either way if they don't. So let them do it. Breaking Swipe gets the shield. We get to the Shadow Ball on charge attack priority, and we're gonna throw that. Even though the Breaking Swipe would have been enough here, I'm just not gonna play around with it. But they're actually playing Power Up Punch, Thunder Punch. Oh, in this economy, I don't know how they get away with that. Shadow Ball is the way to go here, but good game to the opponent here. Well played. Loving the Lucario on their team at the very least. And we slap a 5-0 set for the start. Getting into the next game here. We got Shiinotic against Azumarill. I love to see it. You usually love to see it. If you have to, you can tank an Ice Beam here. The opponent comes in with a Dragapult. Look at how much damage these are doing. They just instantly throw Breaking Swipe. I don't even need to shield this. There can never be anything else. I'm just gonna go for the farm down. And I remember now at this point that it is 4-3, and I really wish that I had maybe come in with my own Dragapult to get the rest of that farm down or something. But I'm going to swap in my Dragapult now. It looks like things are off by a turn, but I'm not really sure in what way. So I guess the opponent was a turn behind. Really unfortunate that I'm able to get a 0-turn swap and they're getting a 1-turn swap when really they should have got a 0-turn swap. The game is just being ridiculous, man. But Dragapult is going to be able to do quite a bit of damage to this Weezing that pops in, and the opponent doesn't throw a move before I'm able to get to the Shadow Ball, which is fine with me. Hopefully they let it go here. Nope, Shadow Ball is going to get shielded, but the opponent throws energy here, and that is massive for me. I am okay with that right now. They're going to go for the Sludge. I have a bunch of energy on my Shiinotic, I believe, from that massive farm we got from the Dragapult earlier, so I need to save it. Opponent goes for the Overheat and is going to be able to go for a Sludge now. I need to get this farm down. I really, really want this farm down here. The opponent going for that Sludge. I wish I had shielded the Overheat, but it's fine. We're going to go for the Scorching Sands here, get the shield, then pop in, go for one more Astonish and the Seed Bomb, because I knew they were energy dry-ish. And I figured I knew I was going to need to get up to a Seed Bomb plus a Sludge Bomb to be safe, but in turn, I had enough anyway, but I wasn't sure. So we're going to be able to take him out. Shiinotic just core breaking and energy going everywhere. Well played to the opponent here. Good game. Next game up, we got Shiinotic versus yet another Azumarill. Shiinotic just absolutely ripping the Fantasy Cup to shreds today. We did see some Turtonator leads as well. Those are just immediately going to Flygon and just letting the Double Dragon work. It's magic. Seed Bomb, though, is going to get the Azumarill down to about half HP. The Astonish buff is really helping Shiinotic this season. We didn't get Fantasy Cup last season, and now we finally have a chance to bring this thing out into the wild. This is gonna be crazy. Now watch this. Watch this. Seed Bomb, get the shield. Going to Flygon. Watch how fast these things get. Look at the sand attacks, bro. They're just deleting the Doug Trio. They're just removing it from existence, sending it straight to the Shadow Realm. Get it? Because they're both shadows? We have enough HP left over to deal with the Azumarill and enough energy to deal with anything at this point. Azumarill is going to have to take a Scorching Sands to the face or shield, and that's going to do a lot of damage. Opponent deciding to shield that move there, and I'm fine with them being a shield down. Dragapult's going to be doing well here, but the opponent overfarms too much and allows us to get to the Scorching Sands to knock out the Azumarill, and in comes an Excadrill. Fine with me. We can just go into the Dragapult with a shield. We can get a full Astonish down here if we want to. We're looking just fine here, even though the game has us off by a turn. Opponent goes ahead and concedes the match because they know it's over. Good game to them. This is the team that beats the double ground teams, and I love it. We're getting into Turtonator in the next game. Terrible lead. We can't really let Shiinotic get against this thing, but the opponent, I mean, there it is, the one thing that beats my whole team. There's literally nothing that I can do against a Wigglytuff that comes in, except when they don't shield like that. Now I have a chance. We get an extra set of sand attacks in against the Wiggly, but my best guess here is just let Shiinotic get a full Astonish down, eat the Icy Wind that's coming my way, and hope that Dragapult can somehow make something happen here. We're going to let the Astonish down happen. Opponent not able to get to another move here, thankfully, but I'm already so low. And the opponent almost gets the Incinerate through, but we're getting in there just in time. Gonna have to shield this up. Hopefully the energy that we've gotten from this matchup will make up for it. Dragapult is gonna have to shield that up, and the opponent has the Azumarill. And I'm like, okay, there's a chance. There's a chance. I have to go for this bait. I don't think I can go straight Shadow Ball, being in a shield disadvantage, and the opponent shields up the boot, and we get the debuff, and now I'm going for the Shadow Ball. I mean, I could have gone for the double bait here, but at this point, I've already gotten one. I don't want to take a chance on two. The opponent does shield that one up, though. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get that Shadow Ball through. I think getting that Shadow Ball through really makes it. Now we're going to go into the Shiinotic here and go for the Seed Bomb. I am hoping that a Sludge Bomb will be just enough to get rid of this thing. This Turtonator here. Now, opponent's going to go for the Turtonator swap in here, getting rid of my Shiinotic after this Sludge Bomb is done. I'm pretty sure this knocks out. Can Dragapult clutch it? We are so close. And the opponent has a move loaded, and we go down. The opponent managing their energy very well in that game. And honestly, I mean, we kind of got hard countered from back to front, to be honest. So I'll take that as good as I could, considering there's a Wiggly in the picture. Next game, we got a super good lead here. The opponent has the Giratina Origin. We can just look at the Astonishers are just going to town. This is what I'm talking about. Astonish is the best move in this meta. The fast move, as far as fast moves go, it is the best one in this whole meta. Like Shadow Claw and just Ghost type fast move damage in general. Ghost type damage in general, period, is so good. And we're going to be able to just rip the Giratina in half. The opponent not going to be able to get to another move after they go for the Shadow Ball, unless they are running Ominous Wind, which I don't think they are. If they're not running Ominous Wind at all, and the opponent, like, just at that point, I don't know if they were trying to go for one more Shadow Claw over tap by accident, but they didn't get their move off, and now they're just rage quitting the game. Like, I get it, it's frustrating, but come on, man. People like, there's no way that this is just a I happen to disconnect. Like, they force close the app, and they're doing it because they're pissed, and I get it. But, like, come on, man. No, you're wasting everybody's time. And I'm still going to get a win out of it. So you're not doing me a disservice by doing this. You're only serving, especially when you do it to somebody who's going to make a video on it and expose you. Just surrender. Just hit top left. I get it. Games don't always go your way. It doesn't happen. It happens all the time. Games don't go my way either. I top left instead of force quitting my app, because at least that way I'm saving people time and not, I don't know. Anyway, rant over. Next game, we're going to have Shiinotic on the lead versus Giratina. We get to do it again one more time, but this time I definitely expect the opponent to try to bait with those Ominous Winds. There's a chance that the previous opponent maybe was just running Dragon Pulse, which is completely understandable. A very good move in this meta. Ominous Wind here from the opponent, though, and I'm going to be able to go for my Seed Bomb. And if they tank a Seed Bomb, they basically just get Astonished down after this, so they are forced to shield or they lose their Giratina. So the opponent decides to take the shield advantage, and they come in with the Dugtrio. And again, I get that, like, this thing is good against, like, the Weezings and stuff, but I've tried to use Alolan Dugtrio, and it literally served as a lose condition in almost every game I brought it, so I think it's overhyped, personally. But opponent saw the Shiinotic. Dragapult was in the back. They weren't really going to get through it, but they did decide not to play it out, and they're going to surrender. So that's going to be a good game. Well played. We're getting the 4-1. Again, 5-0, 4-1, 4-1 with this team. And we had a few wins in the half a set I played before I hit the 5-0 too. So there's even more than that. And this team has been going off like nuts for my Discord members as well, which if you'd like to support me, the channel, my family, that is something that is an option. You can either sign up on YouTube right here, become a member, or on Patreon. The links are in the description and the pinned comment below if you'd like to consider doing that. There are bonuses. You get exclusive access to my Discord server where you get early access to my teams and other bits and bobs that I come up with throughout the season and my playing the game, giving everybody as much tips to win as I possibly can. So that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.